Straight to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil now. The Cape2Rio race began 50 years ago as the ultimate sailor's dream. The race is over 7,000 kilometers long and sees competing yachts dash across the South Atlantic Ocean. It starts in Cape Town and finishes in Rio. The Cool Ideas Nemesis has been competing in that race, which started earlier this month. And after 24 days at sea, Team Cool Ideas Nemesis has arrived indeed in Rio, and they arrived on Thursday. For more on this now, we're joined by crew member Michael Motsuneng-Bill, who joins us all the way from beautiful Rio. Michael, thank you so much for your time. You've got a broad smile on your face. Were you smiling the entire 24 days on board? I've watched some of these yacht races. I've watched that, that Vendée Globe, the one-person yacht race around the world. It's not always cool cruising, is it? If you could just wrap up what the experience was like for you.
We went through all sorts of emotions because we were 24 days out at sea. The first 5 days, we had strong winds. I mean, we were knocking something like 200 nautical miles per day, which meant that we were maximizing the speed of the boat. The seas were rough, but we got a lot of mileage in that time. For 5 days, we were almost a third of the way. We got 1,000 nautical miles in. That was the first rough 5 days, and then after that we had different lighter winds, and some days we had no wind. I mean, there was this one day when we were just sitting with cruising, just from having done 200 nautical miles per day to down to about 30 or 40. Where you're just bobbing around the water waiting for winds because, of the channels that we may have chosen at that time. So it was definitely lots of smiles, lots of laughs, lots of friendships, because you also stuck with 5 other people on a boat, 42-foot boat. There's laughter, there's shouting, there's sleep, there's no sleep, you get every sort of emotion in that 24 days.
I want to know whether...
That you definitely get is that...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, one thing that you get out of it is just being able to teamwork and working with other people, smiling, fighting, crying, all sorts of things. Yeah. But it wasn't always.
I can imagine that you learn parts of it about yourself that you never knew you need to learn. I'm quite interested in those dark nights where it's the middle of the night, you don't know where you are, but all you know is it's all hands on deck. It's the only yachting term that I would know. Did you ever have a moment when you thought, you know what, I really could have been sitting in my swanky legal offices right now and answering emails? What was I thinking getting involved here? Did you ever have that moment? And what led you to get involved in this in the first place? Because you're quite a motley crew of people who made up the crew on the Cool Ideas Nemesis.
Actually quite the opposite. When you're out there and it's dark and you have nothing but the moon and the stars, and sometimes not even the moon and the stars, sometimes it's just good old black, pitch black.
Yeah.
You just are reminded how small you are as a person and how insignificant you are, and that's you get I left with more of a feeling of being humbled by how small I am as a human, and how maybe I should take myself less seriously, So that was certainly what I got from the dark nights, but also just how vast and how beautiful life can be, and I would have chosen those stars and that moon that we saw it rise. We saw the sunset. I'd trade my swanky office, a law firm office, for that anytime.
Sadly, we've got so much to talk about, but sadly, because we were dealing with issues of national importance with our energy crisis, we have unfortunately run out of time, and maybe we can get you on to give us a broader idea of what this experience is like. So unfortunately, I do have to say goodbye to Cool Ideas Nemesis crew member Michael Motsuneng-Bill, speaking to us all the way from Rio, one of my favorite cities in the world.